Salutations, Stove Minders. It is April 7th, and the 2021 Major League Baseball season is underway. This is usually an off-season channel, free agency, trade talk, but this year I want to try in-season content. I was inspired by This Week in Baseball, a TV show I watched as a kid. But Stove Minders won't have highlights or behind-the-scenes features. This is a one-man operation, okay? I'm interested in the stories, the moments, and drama that come out of this silly old game. And as for stove mining itself, you're probably wondering, well, Francisco Lindor signed that huge extension. There's been a couple trades. But I'll save that for another video. So what happened this week in baseball, the first week in baseball? Opening day on April 1st, no joke, one of the first two games to begin included a blizzard. It was epic. Indians and Tigers in Detroit. The snow was coming down, beautiful visuals. This happens every odd year or so in the eastern Great Lakes. They get a big snow dump in early April. It's happened in Toronto, it's happened in Cleveland, and this year in Detroit, where a local legend in Miguel Cabrera hit a line drive home run in the frosty air off of defending Cy Young winner Shane Bieber, no less. Limited visibility, so Miggy thought it was only a double. He slid into second, stood up, and was duly informed that he had hit the 488th home run of his career. We love milestones in baseball, and Cabrera should hit number 500 at some point this season, with 12 more to go. Before the season started, he also had 2,866 career hits, meaning Miguel Cabrera could reach both of the signature milestones for hitters in one season, and based off of his 2019 numbers, that is very feasible. Last player to crack the 500 home run club was David Ortiz in 2015, so it's been a while. And we haven't seen 3,000 hits since Mr. 3000, Bernie Mac. I'm just kidding. It was Albert Pujols in 2018. So lots to look forward to for Tigers fans for the first time in a while. A legend in Miguel Cabrera adding to an all-time resume, and a host of young players trying to push the Tigers out of the AL Central basement. I'm sure you have now heard of Akil Baddoo, who's had a hot start for the Tigers. Opening day in Colorado featured the season's first wacky baseball rule in action. Cody Bellinger, hit a 2-run home run that ended up a 1-run single. How? Belly's big hit was almost robbed by Rockies outfielder Raimel Tapia, who got a lot of glove on it, to be fair, even if you watch the highlight from the broadcast. And that's what the runner from first base, Justin Turner, saw. He thought Tapia caught it. So Turner retreated to first, but on his way between first and second, he got passed by Bellinger, who's just enjoying his first home run trot of the year. You can't pass the base runners, man. Belly's out, but JT scores. The quarantine bandit strikes again, and baseball rules continue to create fun moments like this. And on a later night in that series between the Rockies and the Dodgers, a cat ran onto the field, settling in the center field grass, being all cute. The first animal moment of the year. Was it a sign of things to come? Yes. Coors Field and Denver, Colorado will host the 2021 All-Star Game this summer after MLB decided to move the game from Atlanta, Georgia. That was the biggest baseball-related news story of week one. But this is a baseball show here at Stove Minders, okay? We talk baseball gossip and baseball drama, not politics. And let me tell you, the pot has been stirred. Cincinnati Reds outfielder Nicholas Castellanos is one of the best contact hitters in the league, okay? And one of the swaggiest players around, too. On opening day, he sallied after a home run off a St. Louis Cardinals ace Jack Flaherty. He did a little skip. And as per the unwritten rules, because the Reds were down 7-3 in the third inning after that home run, it is unbecoming of a gentleman to emphasize the scoring play. So in Game 2, Cardinals pitcher Jake Woodford, a rookie, throwing for one of baseball's most traditional organizations in Cardinals, had something to prove. Fourth inning, Cardinals down this time 6-2, so a little bit of sore losing on either side, and Woodford hit Castellanos with a pitch. Nicky C didn't like it, he took his base, and soon he was at third base. After which, Woodford threw it wild. In comes Castellanos, slides home, where Woodford is covering. The two make contact. Up stands Castellanos the victor. Woodford in the dirt. A flex, a yelp. In comes Yadier Molina, bench is clear, yada, yada, yada. And in Game 3, Castellanos homered again and celebrated with an elegant bat twirl. The Reds won the series, but unfortunately for Cincinnati, the Castellan received the first suspension of the year. 2 games for so-called instigating. It's bogus. I mean, nobody got hurt in that bench clearance. The only scuffling that happened didn't even involve Castellanos. He was over with Molina, resolving the situation peacefully and personally, which I love to see. Don't like to see Major League Baseball practicing a double standard in regard to players showing emotion. Make your mind up, Manfred. After the fines were handed out, Reds reliever Amir Garrett, a player who also known for his expressive celebrations, said that he wants people to think the Reds are the cockiest team ever. Quote, "We're some bat-flipping, showboating son of guns, and I want everybody to know that." End quote. I think that's already the case, Amir. The Reds of recent years have gotten into it with opponents quite a bit. There was that whole saga with the Pirates, Derek Dietrich celebrating his home runs, and Garrett bum rushed the Pirates dugout by himself. It was crazy. There's been problems with the Cubs and the Reds, and even without Yasiel Puig on the roster, these Red Leagues are not afraid to get acrimonious. If they want to, if that's the team identity, roll with it. Kind of wish Bauer was still there just to add to the fire, but guess not. Guess the Reds don't have $40 million lying around. Love the pro wrestling style appraisal of the bat-flipping, showboating, son-of-gun Cincinnati Reds. Thanks, Amir Garrett. Best thing to come out of this is the fact that the Cardinals and Reds will play 16 more times this summer. Lots of spice added to the stew that is the NL Central. Who will come out on top? Cleats of the week. Manny Machado added again with the Golden Jordans. And the number one thing that I think everyone's just happy about is fans back in the stands. Just good energy. Good to hear some real noise, you know what I'm saying? It's been awesome. Even in ballparks where it's 15% capacity. Meanwhile, Texas Rangers had 100% capacity on their season home opener. It's pretty electric to watch Joey Gallo run out with like tens of thousands of people cheering. We haven't seen that in like a year, so that's kind of cool. Probably Gally's last opening day with the Rangers. And the Houston Astros finally had to face the fans. And listen, us baseball folk have long memories. Lots of boos on their road trip against both the Athletics and Angels, climaxing in Anaheim, where fans threw garbage cans from the outfield bleachers, both a real bin and an inflatable one. Houston's manager, Dusty Baker, complaining about the mockery in such a fashion as a, quote, sad situation for America, is just rich, Dusty, just rich. I know he wasn't involved with the cheating scandal, but maybe he should focus about all the elbows he keeps grinding into dust. And finally, the biggest baseball story of Week 1 concerns Chicago White Sox designated hitter Yermin Mercedes. Who? Like, comment, and subscribe if you never heard of this guy before. They don't call him the Who's for nothing. Well, Mercedes became the first player in the modern era, that's going back to 1900, over 120 seasons of Major League Baseball. Nobody until Yermin started a season 8 for 8. This ain't one of those hyper-specific stats that writers dig up just to talk about. Mercedes had 8 hits, in 8 at-bats to start the year. The first 4 were singles. Cool stuff. Well, the run came to an end via flyout. And Game 2 of that White Sox-Angels series. Then in Game 3, on the first episode of 2021 ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, the Mercedes myth was ended by a living legend, the Japanese Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani. Lots of hype before the season on Ohtani, always touted for his amazing two-way capabilities. We haven't seen anything like this in a century, it seems. Angels management pretty much said the safety was off on Shohei this season, and his debut start, Ohtani was on. He had a shutout going through 4 innings, 6 strikeouts, a home run hit. He was throwing 100 miles an hour, and the 5th inning that came to a crashing halt. Ohtani lost command that inning. Joe Madden kept him in despite having a walkie-talkie to the bullpen and 2 guys warming up. Like, as a Cubs fan, it's kind of satisfying to see that Madden does this with other teams as well. Thus, Ohtani unraveled, bases loaded thanks to 2 walks and an ugly pickoff attempt. Wild pitch to put the Sox on the board, 3-1. Then a swinging strikeout by Yoan Moncada on a passed ball, so Moncada runs to first. Angels catcher Max Stassi with a terrible throw to first, and then an equally ugly throw home from right fielder Juan Lagares. 2 runners scored to tie the game, and the tying run, Jose Abreu, defending AL MVP, slid into Ohtani covering home. Down goes Shohei, a total catastrophe. It wasn't as bad as it looked. Ohtani did stay on the ground longer than necessary, but he was recovering from a gong show of a play. Should have been pulled already anyway. No injuries. He's fine. Just a mess defensively. I understand it's early April, but both teams had some terrible defense that night. Angels ended up breaking the tie soon after, courtesy of a Jared Walsh solo homer. And then they gave up the lead again because guess why? Madden throws the closer in the 8th inning. I'm sorry, Raisel Iglesias. Joe hates Cuban closers. Remember what he did to Aroldis Chapman in the 2016 postseason? Yeah, I'll just put him out there in the 8th inning every single night. Oh, he's throwing in his low 90s even though this guy's, the Cuban missile. Yeah, it's fine. Just keep him in there. Jesus Christ, Madden. And then, by the grace of God, Jared Walsh again. Walk-off 3-run bomb in the bottom of the 9th. The only guy making an effort out there. Angels win, but Angels ain't it. So that concludes the Stove Minders That Week in Baseball, or whatever I have to call this to not get sued. Later in the season, I will be keeping tabs on the standings and statistical leaders, but this early in the year, that stuff is not worth talking about. Well, I guess let's take a look. Nobody's undefeated, but 2 teams are still looking for their first win, and oddly enough is the Oakland Athletics, who started the year 0-6, and the Atlanta Braves 0-5. They're actually playing against the Nationals right now. Phillies got off to a good start. They swept the Braves to start the year. They're at the top of the AL East. Also, don't expect any sort of regularity as to when these episodes drop. This here's a labor of love. And on that note, bye-bye.